Your life is a marathon, and you're in the final stretch of that long marathon. You've come miles through sacrifices and countless obstacles, and now you're at that point where every step matters, where one misstep could cost you dearly. Let's be honest, at this stage of your life, the last thing you need is not to carry the weight of other people's. You're not here to be anyone's lifeguard, nor to sacrifice your peace for empty promises or guilt that was never yours to begin with. This is your life, not theirs. There are people who ask for things they never should, things that steal your time, your energy, even your peace of mind. It's a direct hit to your happiness, and that cannot be allowed. Have you ever felt like you're rowing a sinking boat while everyone else just watches? Anything that robs you of your peace simply isn't worth it. You need to close the doors you should never have opened in the first place. You were asked to take responsibility for something that isn't yours. How many times have you said yes to something you knew deep down wasn't your problem? Too many, right, and worst of all, you only realized it once you were already carrying a burden that was never yours to begin with. These stories often start with a small favor, a bit of help just this once, or an emergency, and suddenly you're caught in a chain that pulls you deeper, without you even noticing what began as support, turns into becoming the pillar, holding everything up, and the longer it goes on, the harder it is to let go. Think about it. What happens when a rope keeps getting pulled while it's already worn out? It snaps, and that rope is you. You were used like a lifeline, but you're not a lifeline, and you don't have to be, because what's at stake here isn't just your time or your money, it's your peace, your emotional health, and your life. Asking you to take care on what isn't yours is like handing you a heavy load and walking away, expecting you to deal with it, and you, out of love, carry it because you want to help, since you don't want to be seen as selfish. But that's not help, that's abuse. You've done your part. You've given, loved, and sacrificed more than anyone could imagine. So why keep holding on to what was never yours? Why? Even when you're not a bank, but people ask for money, you're not a nurse, but they expect you to care for everyone, like it's your duty without ever asking how you feel. And if you say no, if you say you can't or won't, suddenly you're the bad guy, judged, criticized, and made to feel guilty. But who judges them for putting you in that position? The truth is, many people take advantage of your love and sense of responsibility. They see you as a resource, not a person, and that hurts, because you give your all, and in return, you get little or nothing, only more demands, more blame, and the expectation that you'll keep giving without ever thinking of yourself. It's like being an umbrella everyone runs to when it starts to rain, but once the storm passes, you're left there, soaked and forgotten, while everyone else moves on with their lives. How many more times will you allow yourself to be used like that? Remember, this isn't love, it's emotional abuse, and it doesn't matter if it's coming from a child, a sibling, or a friend. If people are overwhelming you with things that aren't yours to carry, stealing your peace, you don't have to accept it. You don't need to say yes just because it's hard to say no. When someone asks with tears, sweet words, or emotional blackmail disguised as affection, that's exactly when you need to ask yourself, why should I pay the price for their mistakes? This isn't about being selfish, it's about respect. And respect begins with you. If you don't set boundaries, no one will do it for you. Continuing to accept burdens that don't belong to you will only leave you drained, frustrated, and invisible. And that's a mistake you simply can't afford. Life is short, and at this stage, you deserve to live it in peace. You deserve time for yourself, to enjoy what you've built, to rest, and to do what you've always dreamed of. Not to put out the fires that others had started, or to be the support system for people who refuse to stand on their own feet. Open your eyes. If you feel like a prisoner of other people's responsibilities, it's time to break those chains. This isn't about offering help in tough moments. It's about carrying loads that were never yours, and what you ignore today will weigh even heavier tomorrow. Ask yourself again, why you're carrying all this? And if you can't find a good reason, it's time to let go, because no one will take care of you better than you can take care of yourself. It's a sad truth that once you lend money to others, you often hand over your peace of mind, your emotional stability, and sometimes even your trust, a direct hit to your happiness. This is the time in your life when, after so much hard work, you should be enjoying the calm you fought for. This isn't selfishness, it's self-respect, because what seems noble today might become a personal disaster tomorrow. It's not turning your back on someone you care about. It's about protecting yourself from being left with nothing. While others take advantage of your kindness, you realize that what begins as a simple request can end in unnecessary, painful consequences, a direct hit to your peace and well-being. It's like leaving your door wide open, hoping no one walks in and takes what's yours. And by the time you notice, it's too late, because anything that robs you of your peace simply isn't worth it. Your peace of mind is worth more than anything. When emotional blackmail shows up, making you feel trapped, manipulated by guilt, remember this: you are under no obligation to save anyone. If it means drowning yourself in the process, your life does not belong to others. If you're not happy, then change. Continuing to row a sinking boat isn't heroism itself, it's self-destruction. We need to recognize and realize that someone is taking advantage of us. This isn't about extreme situations, genuine emergencies like a medical crisis. This is about constant favors that never end, draining your savings, while the other person goes on with life as if nothing's wrong. And the worst part, once your wallet is empty, they start to distance themselves from you. Life is a one-time, always forward journey. There's no going back. You're not at an age to start over financially from zero. It's like driving down a winding road and losing your rearview mirror, a missed opportunity you can never recover. So open your eyes. Don't beg for attention, affection, or respect. If someone only shows up when they need something, ask yourself, is this really love or just dependence in disguise? The worst thing you can do is sacrifice your future for people who couldn't care less about yours, because someone who truly loves you would never put you in a position where you have to choose between your own stability and their convenience. And if they do that, they don't deserve your time or your effort. It's shocking. After a lifetime of hard work, you still find yourself having to justify why you deserve to enjoy what you've earned. But here's a painful truth: those who don't value you don't deserve your time or your money. Learn to say enough. Don't be afraid to be different. And above all, don't be afraid to say no. Remember, peace of mind is a luxury that must be protected. What's easy isn't always right. And in this case, the right thing is protecting what took you a lifetime to build. Life doesn't wait. Live now. Don't let anyone stand in your way. This is your time to enjoy what you've achieved, not to watch it slip away in the blink of an eye. So next time, when someone comes to you with a sad story, and ask yourself, are they thinking about my well-being as much as I think about theirs? And if the answer is no, then you already know what to do. This isn't about being cold, it's about being wise. The good only arrives when you leave the bad behind. Reaching your later years should mean peace, shouldn't it? After all you've been through? Imagine a life of calm, enjoying the fruits of your labor. Finally, having time for yourself. Life is too short to be wasted on problems that don't belong to you. This is the moment when you deserve to put yourself first, to finally seek the peace you fought so hard to achieve. If someone asks you to step into a conflict, ask yourself, is it really worth risking my peace over something I can't control? Because deep down, you already know you can't save others by sinking with them. Life isn't about carrying other people's battles. It's about protecting what brings you calm, joy, and meaningful. This isn't selfishness, it's self-respect. And if you decide to walk on your own path, you're not letting anyone down. On the contrary, you're choosing yourself. So next time someone tries to pull you into any argument, remember, you're not required to carry the weight of what isn't yours. Your well-being matters more than any drama. Because the peace you've worked for has no price to exchange with anything else. Think twice. If you're not happy, change. Peace is priceless, and it should never be bargained away. Don't waste your energy fighting a war that isn't yours. The truth may sting, but it sets you free. Say you won't get involved in that, and that's it. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Tranquility is a luxury you must protect, because if you don't, you'll find yourself stuck in a decision you never should have made. Put yourself first. Take the reins of your own life. Stop merely surviving and start living. Never risk your peace for something that's outside your control. Never allow people telling you to forget who you are, to erase everything you've built. They're not just asking you to change something small. They're trying to strip away your identity, telling you in their own way that everything that defines you no longer has value. And that's a loss no one should ever have to endure, because instead of seeing you as someone full of experience and wisdom, they treat you as someone who needs to be updated to fit into their world. And here's the key question. Why should you have to change for them? What about your right to be yourself, to enjoy what makes you happy? No one has the right to tell you how to live, especially when you've lived long enough to know what brings you peace. The freedom you've earned over the years shouldn't be exchanged for a mere suggestion. The worst part is if you give in. If you start doubting yourself and going along with the flow, you'll end up losing your essence, destroying what makes you unique, what you've spent a lifetime building. There's no blindness worse than that of someone who refuses to see, and they don't see what lies behind your decisions. They don't see the years of effort, the lessons learned, the sacrifices made. They don't understand that you've paid a price to live a full life, always staying true to yourself. What they're really asking, even if they don't say it outright, is for you to give up who you are. But you know you shouldn't do that. Remember, your authenticity is your greatest treasure. Don't trade it for anything else or anyone. This isn't about making a small adjustment, because once you give in and begin to change just to fit in, what you lose may never come back. There's no way to recover what was sacrificed. Imagine one day your child looking at you and saying, "Stop talking about that stuff. That was years ago. Just let it go. That was the past." They have no idea what it takes to stay true to yourself, to stand firm when everyone is telling you to move on. The worst thing that could happen is allowing those words to drag you down, to make you stop being who you are, just so others can feel more comfortable. Can you imagine losing your identity just to fit into a mold that was never yours? That would be an unnecessary, painful fall. There is nothing worse than sacrificing what brings you happiness just to please others. Don't let yourself be manipulated by guilt. This is your life, and you get to decide how to live it. The peace and happiness you've built, everything that brought you to this point, is worth far more than any opinion or suggestion. Don't put your life on pause for anyone. If your habits, your way of living, what you love, if these things make you feel good, no one has the right to ask you to change. Life is now, and everything you've lived through so far holds immeasurable value. Don't waste your energy, and don't settle for less than you deserve. And if someone asks you to stop being who you are just to please them, remember, your life is made up of choices, and the most important one is choosing to stay true to yourself. Now let's talk about another kind of request. When someone asks you to put their feelings above your own, what happens when someone you love demands that you prioritize their emotions over yours? It's as if they're saying, without words, that your happiness no longer matters, that your feelings and needs have become secondary. The worst thing you could do is give in, because what they're really asking is for you to cancel yourself, to forget your own desires and needs so they can feel more at ease. They're saying, forget yourself. What matters is that I feel good. That's a direct hit to your happiness, because while they get to feel comfortable in their world, you end up dimming the light of your own life so they can shine. Don't do it, because no one has the right to ask you to set aside what makes you feel fulfilled. Who said your well-being should depend on how others feel? Every time you face these kinds of demands, it's as if they're telling you that you don't deserve happiness. But the truth is, if you give in, you'll realize too late that the damage is done. You have sacrificed something incredibly valuable: your inner peace, the calm you built over the years, through every lesson learned, every challenge overcome. Don't settle for less than you deserve. You can't keep living as if you're a supporting character in someone else's story. Imagine someone saying to you, if you don't do this, you'll hurt me, you'll disappoint me. Suddenly you feel trapped, as if your own needs no longer matter, just because someone else can't handle their emotions. Don't let that happen, because in the end, no one has the right to ask you to stop being who you are. Your life is yours, and you should always remember you decide how to live it. You might find yourself pushed into a situation where it feels impossible to be yourself without feeling like you're hurting someone. But your life is not supposed to revolve around others. It's as if you're constantly hearing, "Don't make me feel uncomfortable with your decisions." And suddenly, you're expected to change, to adapt, to sacrifice everything you are, just so someone else doesn't have to deal with their own discomfort. But what about your feelings? What about your well-being? This isn't selfishness, it's self-love. If you don't respect yourself, if you don't prioritize your peace, who will do it for you? If you keep giving in to the expectations of others, you'll find yourself drained, leaving behind everything that energizes you, everything that makes you feel alive. And the worst part, you miss the one and only chance to be truly happy, because when you put yourself in second place so others can shine, you end up dimming your own light, becoming just a spectator in your own life. While others decide how you should live, what you should do, and even how you should feel, don't allow that, because you know exactly what happens when someone demands too much from you. You end up stuck in their expectations. Your life needs to be guided by what makes you feel good, by what brings you peace. Don't settle for less than you deserve. It's time to put yourself first. Stop being a prisoner to what others want from you. Stop doing things just to avoid disappointing them. And if someone asks you to place their happiness above your own, stop and say enough, because your happiness, your peace, and your choices have immense value. Don't waste time trying to change. The truth, as painful as it may be, when someone doesn't respect your feelings, it's a clear sign that you need to draw the line, because in the end, the only person who has the right to decide how you live your life is you. If you're not happy, if you're not at peace, if you're not living in alignment with what fulfills you, then it's time to change. Life is short. Don't waste it on drama or trying to live up to other people's expectations. If someone asks you to live for them, instead of for yourself, remember that is not what you deserve. At this stage of life, peace and well-being must be the priority. You can't allow others to drag you into their conflicts, to ask you to take on responsibilities that aren't yours, or to play games with your kindness and generosity, because by doing so, you're not just sacrificing your time and energy, you're also giving away your mental and emotional peace. Learning to say no is not selfish. It's a way of protecting what you've worked so hard to build, your peace and your happiness. Always remember, your life is yours, and only you can decide how to live it. Don't let anyone steal what's most valuable, your tranquility. Now is the time to prioritize, to set healthy boundaries, and to enjoy this important chapter of life to the fullest. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.